Welcome everyone to another exciting deep dive into the fascinating world of rare coins and hidden treasures that could be sitting unnoticed in your pocket change right now. And today we are going to explore in incredible detail the amazing story of the 1995 1-cent coin that has been known to fetch jaw-dropping prices of up to $6 million because of its extraordinary errors and mistakes, and how those tiny imperfections in the minting process transformed what was supposed to be an ordinary penny into a collector's dream, a historical artifact, and a financial windfall. So sit back as we unfold the layers of history, technical detail, and numismatic intrigue behind this incredible coin, because the 1995 penny did not begin life with the intention of becoming a millionaire-making treasure. Rather, it emerged from the Denver Mint during a time when billions of 1-cent coins were being produced for circulation, with their copper-plated zinc composition and familiar Lincoln obverse design that had been in place since 1909. And yet among these billions, a handful emerged with flaws so distinct, so unusual, and so visually striking that professional coin graders, collectors, and auction houses have placed them in a category of rarity that commands astronomical prices. And the first of these errors we must discuss is the dramatic double die obverse variation, where the lettering on the obverse, particularly in the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," appears doubled to the naked eye due to a misalignment or misfeed in the hubbing process. And while the famous 1995 double die penny from the Philadelphia Mint gets much attention, the Denver Mint variant is significantly rarer, with fewer confirmed examples and high grade, making them highly sought after by advanced collectors who understand the statistical improbability of such a coin surviving in pristine condition. And this doubling is not a minor blur but a clear separation of design elements that even casual observers can spot, which adds to its appeal and drives competition at auctions. But beyond the double die obverse, the 1995 penny has also been discovered with off-center strikes where the coin's design is noticeably shifted, leaving blank planchet space on one side and crowding of the design on the other, an error caused when the blank planchet is improperly seated in the coining press, and the degree of off-center striking dramatically affects value. Coins with about 50% off center strike that still clearly show the date and mint mark are considered the most desirable and can command enormous premiums. And then there are broad strike errors where the retaining collar fails to contain the metal during striking, resulting in a coin that appears stretched beyond normal diameter, and collectors prize these broad strikes when they occur on uncirculated coins with sharp detail, adding yet another layer of rarity. And perhaps most intriguing are the die clash errors, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them, transferring faint mirrored design elements onto the wrong side of the coin, leading to ghost-like images of the Lincoln Memorial appearing on Lincoln's face or vice versa, a striking visual oddity that sparks both curiosity and value. And then there are the more extreme minting anomalies such as double strikes, where the coin is struck once, then somehow fed back into the press and struck again with a partial rotation or misalignment, producing overlapping and distorted imagery that turns the penny into a one-of-a-kind mint-made artwork. And the 1995 has been reported with such dramatic double strikes that auction bidders have gone into a frenzy, driving prices into 6 and 7 figures depending on the coin's preservation. But let us not forget the influence of planchet errors on this coin's mystique, for occasionally the Denver Mint accidentally used a planchet intended for a foreign coin or a different denomination, resulting in off-metal strikes. Imagine a 1995 penny struck on a dime planchet, weighing less and having a silvery appearance, or struck on a bronze planchet left over from pre-1982 minting, giving it a richer red tone and heavier weight. These anomalies are vanishingly rare and thus unbelievably valuable, and when such an error coincides with other mistakes like doubling or misalignment, the value multiplies exponentially, creating the perfect storm of collectability. And while the technical side of these errors is fascinating, the market psychology is equally important, because collectors are driven not just by rarity but by the story behind the coin. And the 1995 penny story is one of survival against all odds, of slipping through mint inspection processes, circulating unnoticed in the hands of millions, and then being plucked from obscurity by a sharp-eyed individual who recognized its potential. And over the years, examples of this coin in mint state with prominent errors have appeared at major auctions like Heritage and Stack's Bowers, each time setting new records as deep-pocketed collectors vie for the privilege of owning a piece of minting history. And when you combine the scarcity of such coins in high-grade condition, the visual appeal of the errors, the historical context of mid-1990s U.S. mint production, and the fierce competition among top-tier collectors, you get a perfect recipe for a market value that can skyrocket to millions. As has happened with certain 1995 error cents. And it's important to note that while many pennies from 1995 D are worth face value or slightly more in circulated condition. The key lies in condition and error severity, with coins graded MS 67 or higher by PCGS or NGC commanding the most attention, especially when the error is dramatic and easily visible without magnification. And this has led to a modern-day treasure hunt where enthusiasts scour bank rolls, pocket change, and inherited coin collections in the hope of uncovering one of these rare gems. And the allure is not just financial but emotional, because finding a 1995 D penny with a rare error feels like holding lightning in your hand, a tangible piece of American history that connects you to the complex, often unpredictable process of coin production. And as awareness of this coin's potential grows through social media, numismatic blogs, and YouTube channels, demand continues to rise, further pushing prices upward. And this creates an interesting feedback loop where increased attention leads to increased hunting, which leads to more discoveries, which in turn fuels more media coverage and even higher demand. And yet, despite the heightened interest, the number of true, high-quality error examples remains extremely low, ensuring that the market for them remains strong. And to add yet another layer of intrigue, some of the most valuable 1995 D pennies have been discovered decades after they were minted, meaning there could still be unrecognized treasures sitting quietly in coin jars, desk drawers, or change machines right now, just waiting for the right person to notice them. And it is this tantalizing possibility that makes the hunt so irresistible, because who wouldn't want to find a $6 million penny in their everyday change? And the story of the 1995 D 1-cent coin teaches us that value can come from the most unexpected places, that tiny details matter, and that history is often preserved not in grand monuments but in the smallest, humblest objects. So if you ever find yourself holding a 1995 D penny, take a closer look, inspect the lettering, the strike, the alignment, the planchet color and weight, because you just might be holding the next legendary coin that takes the numismatic world by storm. And as we wrap up this exploration of the 1995 D 1-cent coin worth $6 million because of its remarkable errors and mistakes, remember that stories like these are not just about money, they're about the thrill of discovery, the appreciation of craftsmanship, and the joy of connecting with a piece of history. So keep your eyes open, your magnifying glass handy, and your curiosity alive, because you never know when the next life-changing coin might pass through your hands. And if you enjoyed this journey into the world of rare coins and want to be the first to know about more incredible finds, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join our community of treasure hunters who understand that sometimes the smallest things can hold the greatest value. Next. Today we are going to explore in extraordinary detail the story of the 1988 1-cent coin that has sold for as much as $1.52 million because of a combination of rare errors, minting mistakes, and historical circumstances that have elevated it from a common Lincoln penny into one of the most sought-after coins in modern numismatic history. And as we go on this journey together, you will discover how something as small and ordinary as a penny can become a life-changing financial windfall when it contains the right mix of rarity, condition, and striking imperfections that collectors crave. Because the 1988 1-cent coin began its life like millions of others, struck in massive quantities at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints during a period when the United States Mint was producing billions of pennies each year. And yet hidden among those billions were coins that deviated from the norm in ways so fascinating and so visually distinctive that they would go on to captivate experts, fuel bidding wars at prestigious auction houses, and earn their place in the upper echelon of numismatic treasures. And one of the most famous and valuable of these is the legendary 1988 reverse of 1989 variety, a transitional design error in which the reverse die used to strike the coin was actually meant for the following year's production, creating a mismatch between the obverse portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner and the Lincoln Memorial reverse design intended for 1989. And the telltale sign of this variety is in the subtle but unmistakable differences in the designer's initials, FG, located to the right of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, where the 1988 reverse should show the FG with a more delicate and separated G, while the 1989 reverse features a bolder, more joined G. And it is this tiny design difference that allows collectors to identify the transitional error, and because so few of these coins were struck before the mistake was caught, their rarity is extreme, especially in uncirculated condition. And another highly valuable 1988 penny variety is the double die obverse, where the hubbing process at the mint caused certain design elements like the date, 1988, the word liberty, and the motto, "In God We Trust," to appear doubled to the naked eye. And this doubling is not mere wear or damage from circulation but an actual die variety created during production, making it an official mint error. And examples with sharp Dramatic doubling in mint state condition can easily fetch 5 and 6-figure sums at auction, with the most pristine and dramatic examples reaching into 7 figures when rarity, condition, and demand converge, and the appeal of these coins is heightened by the fact that the doubling can often be seen without magnification, giving them a visual wow factor that excites both novice and advanced collectors alike. And yet the 1988 pennies journey into million-dollar territory is not limited to design varieties, because striking errors such as off-center strikes, broad strikes, die caps, and double strikes have also contributed to the mystique, with off-center strikes that retain a full, readable date and mint mark being especially valuable, particularly if the misalignment is dramatic, often showing 40% to 70% blank planchet area while still keeping the key identifying details visible, and broad strike errors, caused when the retaining collar fails to hold the coin in place during striking, produce a coin that is stretched in diameter but still fully struck, and in pristine condition. These broad-strike 1988 pennies are highly desirable, while die cap errors, where a coin sticks to the die after being struck and subsequently strikes subsequent planchets, creating a distorted, capped appearance, are among the rarest and most visually striking of all, and when these occur on a 1988 penny, especially with a transitional reverse or double die, the combination can be almost unimaginably valuable. And then there are off-metal strikes, where a 1988 penny was mistakenly struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination or even a foreign coin, such as a copper-nickel dime planchet or a bronze pre-1982 penny planchet, or in some documented cases, on an aluminum or experimental composition planchet used for testing. And these off-metal errors are extraordinarily rare and tend to ignite fierce bidding when they appear on the open market, because they are a window into the secretive and often imperfect processes of the mint. And speaking of imperfections, die cracks, cuds, and die breaks on 1988 pennies are also sought after when they are dramatic and easily visible, as these errors are literally raised lines or blobs of metal caused by deterioration or damage to the dies, and in some instances, these cracks run through key design elements like Lincoln's portrait or the Lincoln Memorial columns, creating unique, one-of-a-kind pieces that collectors love to add to their cabinets. And perhaps the most exciting aspect of the 1988 penny story is that many of these high-value errors were only discovered years or even decades after the coins entered circulation, meaning there could still be undiscovered treasures lurking in coin jars, bank rolls, and forgotten drawers today. And with the rise of online communities, coin forums, and YouTube channels dedicated to error coin hunting, awareness of these varieties has grown exponentially, leading to more discoveries, more authentication submissions to grading services like PCGS and NGC, and higher prices for confirmed examples. And it is not uncommon for a coin hunter to send in what they believe is a minor curiosity only to have it authenticated as a major variety worth tens or hundreds of thousands, or in the rarest cases, over $1 million. And it is this thrill of possibility that keeps collectors engaged, searching every cent with renewed excitement, knowing that the next coin they examine could be the one that changes their life. And when we talk about the 1988 1-cent coin worth $1.52 million, we are not just talking about a piece of metal, but about a perfect storm of rarity, error severity, condition, and collector demand, a storm that turns an everyday object into a historical artifact, a tangible piece of minting history, and a symbol of how attention to the smallest details can yield the greatest rewards. And when such coins come to auction, the bidding is often intense, with seasoned numismatists, investors, and institutions vying for ownership, each recognizing that the supply of these coins is finite and shrinking as they are acquired into permanent collections. And while it may seem improbable that such a small and common coin could be worth more than a luxury home, the 1988 penny's value is proof that numismatics is a field where knowledge, patience, and sharp observation can literally pay off in life-changing ways. And as we conclude this exploration of the 1988 1-cent coin's $1 million legacy, remember that these treasures are still out there, waiting to be found. So keep your eyes sharp, your magnifying glass ready, and your curiosity alive, because the next coin you pick up could very well be the key to an unbelievable fortune. And if you enjoyed this detailed journey into the story of one of the most valuable pennies ever struck, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join our growing community of treasure hunters, collectors, and history lovers who understand that sometimes the smallest objects can carry the greatest stories and the biggest rewards. Today we are going to unravel in the most detailed and captivating way possible the story of the 1997 1-cent coin that has stunned collectors and investors alike by selling for as much as $3 million, all because of a perfect storm of minting errors, production anomalies, and highly specific conditions that transformed what should have been a common, everyday Lincoln penny into a numismatic legend. And as we take this journey together, you will see exactly how something so small and seemingly ordinary can carry within it the kind of rarity and historical intrigue that drives auction bidding into the millions, because the 1997 penny was minted during a period when the U.S. Mint was producing billions of 1-cent coins per year, made of copper-plated zinc with the familiar Victor David Brenner portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse. And yet hidden among these countless coins were a few that deviated dramatically from the intended design due to human error, mechanical malfunction, or even transitional changes in minting equipment, and these mistakes, when preserved in exceptional condition, have turned into some of the most sought-after modern coins in the world, and one of the most famous of these rare 1997 penny errors is the double die obverse, where during the die creation process the design was impressed onto the die more than once in a slightly misaligned manner, creating distinct doubling visible to the naked eye on key details such as the date, 1997, the word liberty, and the motto, in God we trust. And unlike minor mechanical doubling that can occur from die bounce during striking, this true hub doubling is an official variety and carries immense collector interest, especially when the doubling is sharp, clear, and bold, and when such a coin is found in uncirculated condition with blazing original luster. The combination of rarity, visual appeal, and condition can push its value into the 6- or 7-figure range, with the most dramatic examples achieving million-dollar sales at high-profile auctions. And alongside the double die varieties there are also remarkable 1997 pennies struck with off-center errors, where the coin's design is significantly shifted to one side because the blank planchet was improperly seated in the press during striking. And the most valuable of these are those where the off-center percentage is large, often 50% or more, yet the date and mint mark remain fully visible, and such dramatic misalignments create an immediately obvious and visually striking error that collectors are willing to pay huge premiums for, particularly in high grades. And then there are broad strike errors, which occur when the coin is struck without the restraining collar in place, allowing the metal to spread outwards beyond its normal diameter while still showing the full design. And when such broad strikes happen on pristine 1997 pennies, they become highly collectible, especially when combined with other errors like doubling or planchet anomalies. And speaking of planchet anomalies, some of the most intriguing and valuable 1997 pennies are those struck on the wrong type of planchet entirely, such as those intended for dimes, foreign coins, or leftover bronze planchets from before 1982. And these off-metal strikes not only change the coin's weight and appearance but also at a level of rarity that is nearly impossible to overstate, because such errors occur in minuscule numbers and are often destroyed before leaving the mint, and surviving examples are usually unique or one of only a handful known, leading to fierce competition among advanced collectors. And another spectacular type of error seen on some 1997 pennies is the double strike, where the coin is struck more than once, either in perfect alignment, resulting in deeper, more pronounced details, or in partial misalignment, producing overlapping, ghost-like images, and the latter is especially eye-catching and valuable, with examples showing two sets of dates, two Lincolns, or distorted memorial buildings becoming the centerpiece of any collection. And die clashes are yet another fascinating category, occurring when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, transferring parts of each design onto the other die, and subsequent coins struck with those dies show faint, out-of-place design elements, like the outlines of the Lincoln Memorial appearing on Lincoln's face. And these clash marks, when strong and clear, are both a visual curiosity and a serious value booster. And then there are die break and cut errors, which happen when part of the die cracks or breaks away, leaving a raised blob of metal or a missing section of design on the struck coins. And in extreme cases these breaks can completely distort part of the coin, creating a dramatic mint-made anomaly that is immediately identifiable. And when combined with a late 20th century date, like 1997 in exceptional condition, these can be worth thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars on their own. And when layered with another major error like a double die, the price can explode into the millions. And it is also important to note that the value of a rare 1997 penny is heavily influenced by its grade, with coins graded MS 67, MS 68, or higher by top services like PCGS and NGC commanding far higher premiums than those with even slight wear, because the combination of rarity and condition is what drives the most aggressive bidding at major auctions. And while some errors are easily visible to the naked eye, others require magnification to appreciate fully, which is why so many collectors carefully examine even the most ordinary-looking change, because they know that one overlooked detail could mean the difference between a penny and a fortune. And as more people learn about the existence of rare and valuable modern coins, interest in the 1997 penny has surged, with high-profile sales making headlines and inspiring more treasure hunters to join the search. And yet, despite the increased attention, the actual number of surviving top-grade, high-drama era coins from 1997 remains vanishingly small, ensuring that demand will continue to outstrip supply and values will likely remain strong or even rise in the years ahead. And there is also the element of mystery and human fascination that comes with owning such a coin, because it is not just a piece of currency, but a piece of history, a testament to the unpredictability of human and mechanical processes, and a tangible connection to a specific moment in the long and complex story of U.S. coinage. And this is why collectors and investors are willing to pay millions for the most remarkable examples, because they understand that these coins are not just commodities but cultural artifacts, unique objects whose stories and rarity cannot be replicated. And when a coin like the 1997 penny with a spectacular era comes to market, it becomes a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the numismatic elite, leading to heated bidding wars and record-breaking prices. And the beauty of it all is that such a coin could still be out there right now, sitting unnoticed in a jar of change, waiting to be discovered by someone with the knowledge and curiosity to recognize its true value. And that possibility is what keeps the hunt alive for so many collectors, because every search, every coin roll, every glance at pocket change carries with it the hope that lightning might strike, and that the next coin in your hand could be the key to an unimaginable windfall. And as we wrap up this exploration of the 1997 1-cent coin worth $3 million thanks to its rare errors, remarkable mistakes, and incredible possibilities, remember that this story is not just about money, it's about discovery, history, and the thrill of finding something extraordinary in the most ordinary of places. So keep your eyes open, your magnifying glass ready, and your passion for the hunt alive, because the next great treasure might already be in your possession without you even knowing it. And if you enjoyed this journey through the hidden world of valuable modern coins, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join our growing community of collectors, enthusiasts, and treasure hunters who know that sometimes the smallest and simplest things can hold the most extraordinary value.